Hello and welcome to Hank Games Without Hank. My name is John Green. I'm the manager of the AFC Wimbly Womblys. Today we're taking on Dag and Red, which is apparently a real thing. We're going to talk about how to have a good marriage today. That was someone who requested that, so I thought I would bring in a very special guest.
Me, Sarah Green.
What is your relationship to me?
I'm your wife.
So we're going to talk about how to have a good marriage.
I think that's awfully presumptuous.
I know, right? It's a little presumptuous.
How do they know we have a good marriage?
I don't know. Well, but I think we do.
Well, we are sitting in a single lazy boy together.
We are sharing the lazy boy today for today's video. We'll see if the restriction of my right arm might affect my play.
Okay.
By the way, we're still top of the league.
Okay.
Aren't you
well,
proud?
there you go. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's a great steal to start the game. So, Sarah, what do you think is the key to a great marriage?
Well, the first tip is that when your husband says that he wants to play video games as his job, to suspend your disbelief and go along with it.
I mean, do you really think that's part of a marriage, though? Like being willing to, because like it must have you must have thought it was, oh, get in. Oh, you must have thought it was a little weird when not so much this, but in 2007 when I was like, I'm going to do a video blog project with Hank.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was very supportive of that. Or at least, you know, I wasn't in the videos, but I was very supportive of it. I think in general, if your spouse comes to you with an idea for something they want to do, even if you have your doubts, unless it's like dangerous for them, I think that it's probably better to let them give it a try and figure it out for themselves, if it's a bad idea. You know?
And occasionally, both of us have had ideas that the other thought was bad that turned out to be really good ideas.
Like what?
Well, like I don't know. Like I think I've had ideas for books that you were dubious about at first that turned out to be okay.
Yes,
I think,
and
you've had ideas for shows that I was a little dubious about at first that turned out to be really good.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Like Sarah curated. Oh, you're offside. You are a cheater. You broke the rules. Sarah curated an exhibition called Graphite that was about sort of non-traditional uses of graphite, and I was
it's kind of a dumb idea.
I started out dubious, but it turned out I thought that was the best show you ever did, actually.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah.
Sure, there's better ones ahead. So okay, so that's a good like first starting point. By the way, it's 0-0 here. I think I am being a little bit. I am a little bit worse off because of my inability to move my right elbow. But to be fair, I've always been terrible. No, come back.
What? It's okay.
It's good. No, it's good. I'm going to score right now. Don't worry. Oh, ball, John Green. His positional sense is not what it used to be.
Oh, ball John Green is on this.
Get it. Oh! He's doing the Macarena.
Oh.
Is that what that is?
I don't know. I'm proud to say I don't think I know what the Macarena is.
Anyway, that pass went from ball John Green to other John Green. So you know what we sing?
What?
John Green's balled another John Green's. They're the best forwards that Wimbledon has ever seen. Except it didn't go from ball John Green to other John Green.
So
My bad.
The Wimbly Womblys have the same players as the Swiddly Hoopers?
No, Sarah, not all of the same players, but they have ball John Green and other John Green because they're both Time Lords, so they can travel through time and space. And so they can travel from FIFA to FIFA. And Ball John Green had actually already signed for AFC Wimbledon. Sometimes I feel like you don't necessarily watch all of the Hank Games videos. Ball John Green had already signed for AFC Wimbledon because
that's a good point. That's another part of having a good marriage is having separate interests.
You have to have separate interests.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes.
I
mean, it's important to share a lot, but it's also important to cultivate your own things.
You got to have a little bit. I actually really agree with that. It's important to have your own life because you don't want to be, and also to encourage your partner in their lives. You know.
Yes.
So like, you are not a huge Liverpool Football Club supporter.
That's a fair characterization.
But you totally support me watching Liverpool on Saturdays as long as I am taking care of the kids.
That's true. That's true.
And even occasionally if I'm not taking care of the kids.
Yeah.
But not usually. This is a great opportunity, and it comes to nothing like so much effort in this world.
So what are other things? Other aspects of a good
Well, I think that
marriage?
like we've been talking around what I was going to say, which is like mutual generosity. It's really easy to assume the worst of someone, or to assume that like, so it's really easy to be like, oh, I assume that what you meant was worst possible thing you could have meant. But I think in general, like, things go well in all relationships, but especially in like the really central ones, like a marriage, when you assume the best.
Right.
You know?
Right.
When you don't go to that place of like mutual resentment and just try to do generous things for each other. So like I think different people experience that differently. Like what you would find to be like a generous gift and what I would find to be a generous gift might be quite different.
Right.
But if we can speak our different love languages or whatever, it's good.
John.
Sorry, I haven't even read that book actually, but I think that's an interesting idea.
It is.
I
haven't read it either, but it is interesting. Like I feel love when you do household chores.
Right. Yeah, I know you do. And
Like,
I feel love when I don't have to do those household chores. So that's just, I guess that's just a competing interest. I don't know.
It is,
I don't
it
know what we're
is.
gonna do about that.
Yeah. I don't think it's gonna work out, John.
We've really let the foot off the gas here toward the end of the first half, since we got the goal, just because we're winning.
Yeah.
And then it's
You don't
then,
want to make the other team feel bad.
well, you kind of do.
No.
Because goal difference matters, but also because I've been thinking about this a lot. Like, what is the ultimate point of soccer? Like, it's ultimately meaningless, right?
Right.
But also, all human endeavors are
Right.
ultimately
Everything
meaningless.
you do is meaningless.
Ultimately, and maybe not every single thing, but certainly if you zoom out enough and you consider like the temporariness of humanity itself, like
Right.
a lot of stuff becomes meaningless. A lot of the stuff that we care about
Okay. So
is empty of meaning.
Yes.
So I think, like, ultimately, you play for love and glory. Like,
Glory is a terrible thing to do anything for.
no, I don't think so.
Glory?
Yeah, because it's all removed of meaning, right? Like, so, like,
glory has built-in like vanity and
no, not for glory of self, but for glory of club, for glory of shared endeavor. So it's that's exactly the difference between, say, like, playing tennis and playing soccer, because it's not just about you, and it's not even just about the boys and one woman who are on the field.
Right.
It's also about the club, the 100-year history of football in Wimbledon, and then having that all taken away, and then bringing it back.
Right.
The way that they have. So I think like that.
That's why I liked playing soccer in high school versus the other sports, is because of the team endeavor, and
Right.
also because the spectators were very far away. So you didn't feel their like beady little eyes on you all the time like I did in
Did you see that pass?
basketball.
Did you see that pass?
I did.
That was glorious.
And when I played goalie,
Then a terrible pass to follow it up.
when I played goalie, the coach would always say if the opposing team scored that it had to get by every other player before it got by you, which is a little bit like I know that I also was not a good goalie, so that was also the problem.
Well, you're not. No offense, but you're not
there's
really.
truth to it.
You're not really tall enough to be a
Well,
good
that's
goalie.
when I stopped being goalie. Is when my coach said, "Urist, you're not getting any taller. You're not gonna be goalie next season."
Well, it's true.
And
You
I was
weren't.
fine with that.
You weren't getting any taller. That is a disappointing finish from other John Green.
Yeah.
That he's got to get that ball on target. Don't you agree?
I agree.
He's supposed to be a finisher.
Mm-hmm.
I hired him to be my striker, not to be the guy who heads the ball slightly out of bounds.
But marriage, to bring it back around,
Oh, right.
is about shared endeavor.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Like, shared, because there is the like romantic, googly-eyed part of marriage, which is awesome. But like, there's a lot of basically like running a family together,
Right.
which is essentially like similar to a small business. You have to pay your bills. You have to,
Yeah.
It's just like you.
And then children.
Yeah, who are your kind of quasi-employees. When
I
you
like
get
this analogy.
when you get married, you've basically agreed to start a business together that will never. Oh, show me your
Oh.
cartwheels.
That was kind kind of a weak cartwheel.
Oh, that's a beautiful cartwheel. Look at other John Green proving that he too can be a great player for AFC Wimbledon. Ball John Green has gotten the bulk of the goal so far, but that was a fantastic finish.
Very good.
You know what? He responded, Sarah. He responded to my comment that I hired him to be a finisher, not to head the ball out of bounds. Can I sing you a song?
Sure.
He's big, he's tough, he has a brilliant puff. Other John Green, other John Green. He just got caught up there. He almost had a breakaway again. AFC Wimbledon dominating the play. Dag and Red suffering under our mighty strength. So, yeah, I agree. It should be about shared endeavor, and that's when it's most fulfilling. Is like when you feel like you're on the same page, and you feel like you're doing something that you both like. Yeah, you're like making stuff together, whether that's like kids or dinner or whatever it is.
Yeah, and you know, the back to the generosity thing, like. You know, it is satisfying to make someone else's life easier and better.
It is.
Generosity is helpful
Generosity,
for the giver.
yeah, it feels good. It feels good to be generous. It always.
Sometimes, not always.
That said, there does come a point at which it starts to be replaced by resentment. So you can't. I got fouled. You can't always be sort of merely generous. You know, like there is that feeling of like I give and I give and I give and I never get anything back. But sometimes you have that feeling because you aren't. No, do you?
No.
Pause. Pause. Yeah, I mean, that feeling of like giving and giving and giving and never getting back can be very frustrating. But I think largely that's a result of like seeing how your partner gives, you know, like understanding what giving looks like to them and then kind of being able to have a conversation about that. And the last thing on that topic, the last thing that I would say is communication. Like, I know that that's an obvious thing, but like, it's when you stop talking in any important relationship, it's when you stop talking openly that the problems really start, because then it can become kind of like a cycle of not talking.
Not expressing yourself.
Not expressing, right.
But again, fine line between communicating and nagging.
Well, yeah, I mean, but there's a difference between like communicating feelings about trash pickup and communicating larger feelings about, you know, feeling disconnected or being afraid of abandonment or whatever. You know, like to me, like you don't ever. I definitely understand what you're saying though. Like you don't want to be naggy, even about like, and you don't want to appear. It's difficult because like even everything worked out better than expected. Yeah, you never want to appear merely. We did it!
We did it.
We won the game!
Hooray.
High five! Hey, thanks for being a special guest on Hank Games. I thought you did a great
You're
job.
Welcome.
Yeah.
It was fun.
I'm just trying to be really generous.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mutual generosity. Best wishes.